Hi everyone, this is a quick video of how to use a calculator. So let's get started. You're gonna receive a link for this page. What you do is go down. You can click here for the calculator, put your information, and then you're gonna get a link to your email. Once you get that link, you're gonna go here and you're gonna receive this file. And if you haven't noticed yet, you cannot modify this file because you need to make a copy to your own server. So click here, File, make a copy, and now this is the one where you can modify. Okay, the calculator is pretty simple. Here the address, let's use random numbers. Okay, anything that you want to put in here should come from the wholesaler that sent you the information or from your own deal that you are underwriting. So let's just use random numbers to make this quick. Address 123 Main Street. Loan balance, again, that should come from the wholesaler. But if you don't have a wholesaler, if you're just working with yourself, use a mortgage statement. Let's say the mortgage statement says 325, the interest rate is 3%, maturity 2051. The PITI, let's say the mortgage statement says 2500. PML notes, the second and third note here, you can change it. Okay, if it's a PML that you're borrowing money, you're paying 300, you can put it there. If you don't have a PML, but instead you took over the second loan where the seller had a HELOC and their payment is 350, you can do that as well. Here you can break down the principal, interest, and escrow if you want. Let's say it's 2500 and the principal is 1000, interest is 500. And then that leaves us with 1000. Oh my God, on escrow. Right, so the monthly debt service is 2850. Here, monthly debt service 2850. Right, then we're gonna go here. This is deal information, cash to close. This should come from the wholesaler or from the numbers that you have negotiated. Cash to seller 10,000, cash to agent 5,000, wholesale fee 5,000, acquisition fee. This is in case you're raising money and you're paying yourself for buying the deal. Closing costs, that could be another 5,000, and the TC is usually around 1,000. Okay, now that should take you to the closing table. From putting EMD to the closing table. Here, on additional expenses, this is the cash that you're gonna need after closing, right? Because the entry fee, you need cash to close, holding costs, rehab costs, marketing costs, and all of that. So we're gonna put it here. We're gonna start with the construction cost. This is gonna auto-populate from this area. Okay, so the rehab budget, let's say the house was an original 3.2 and then you're not converted into a 7.2. Let's say the construction total, your contractor is giving you a quote for 25,000. Okay, but that is going to be paid in 3 installments, right? Payment 1 is going to be 10,000. Payment 2 is going to be 5,000. Payment 3 is another 10,000, and that's your construction cost. 25,000, 25,000, right? If you are not using a contractor, if you are doing it yourself, you can put the cost here, like, okay, adding 4, let's do this, framing 4 bedrooms at 2,000 each, so that is 8,000. You can put here 1,500 square feet of LVP install, 4,500. Say the plumbing is charging you 8,000. You know what I mean? You can put here different amounts of whatever you're doing in your construction. So if you're working with a general contractor, you're probably just gonna have one fee that they are charging you. You don't have to worry about breaking it down with the subcontractors. So let's say for furnishing the rooms, they're charging you 200 each, and you have 7 rooms, so 7 times 4, that's 1,400. And yep, the amount keeps moving here. Now this is the extra cash that you're gonna need for the deal to work. Holding costs, I like to put 2 months, so our holding cost is 2850. no, let's make it even. Okay, let's delete this HELOC. Monthly debt service 2,500. 2 months, that is 5,000, right? So we're gonna do 2 months plus 500 for utilities. That's gonna be 5,500. Furniture for the rooms, 800 is too little. I'm sorry, 500 is too little. Let's do 800. 8 times 8. No, we're doing 7 rooms, right? In this example, okay, let's do 7 rooms. So 7 times 8, that is 5,600. Refrigerators, I usually get them around 300. So that is 600. Smart thermostat, I get them at 100 each, so 2 is 200. Bathroom items, that's, you know, whatever you want to put in the bathrooms. Towel rods, shower curtains, matte flooring, a new toilet. I usually spend about 100 per bathroom, so 2 bathrooms, that is 200. Kitchen pantries for storage, I get these usually at 200. Living room furniture, that is whatever you want to spend in there, usually 1,000. Decorations, I usually spend around 350. Security cameras, that depends on what company you use. I use Ring, that charges me usually between 640 and 650 per house. And then if your contractor didn't do the rooms here, right? Let's say we delete this because they don't do it, but then you're gonna hire a different company, right? Building rooms, doing 7 rooms at 200, you can put it here. And if you have something else that you want to add, you can put it here, or you can delete some of these and you can add whatever you want. So that gives us the cash that is going to be needed after closing. And why it's good to have this separated? Because if you are raising money from a private money lender, you're going to want to tell them like, hey, the cash to close is this. We need the cash to close by the 15th, but the rest we need it, 15 days later or 3 weeks later after closing. So that's going to help them prepare to like, okay, when do I need to send the money, right? The total cost of the deal is going to be this, the cash to close plus additional expenses. That is 67,000 in this case. And now here comes the fun part, right? We're going to first fill these cost for the rooms. I like to have 2 because let's say, you underwrite that you can get 800 for a room a month, but then for some reason you cannot get 1 room filled quickly enough, so you need to reduce the rent for at least 3 months, 6 months, right? You want to make sure that even if you reduce the rent, that your deal still makes sense. So on average, I'm getting 800 a room. So let's do that here. And let's assume that all our bathrooms are shared bathrooms, okay? So, but let's say here, some of our rooms didn't rent for what we wanted. And now we're getting it less, right? Now from here, we fill out the expenses. Water and trash, I'm at around 150. Electricity is usually per house 400 for me. Internet is 75. Gas is 70. Pool maintenance, that is around 200 a month. Landscaping twice a month, $50 per cut, that is $100. Cleaning once a month, $150. Security camera subscription for Ring, $15, sorry. Vacancy, I usually leave this empty because I don't have vacancy in my properties. But you can do whatever you want here. 8%, 6%, 2%, whatever you think it's good for you, right? Here I have the capex and repairs on the same one, but if you're actually a smart investor, what you're gonna do is separate this into repairs and capex in a different category. Because repairs, that is for monthly maintenance in case there is something that you need to fix, and capex is the savings that you want to have for big ticket items like HVAC, foundation, or roofing, right? So let's say another 200 there. Property management, same thing. If you're gonna have property management, you can calculate that here, the 16% of the gross income, or whatever they charge you, 8%, 10%, right? So now that takes us here to the cash on cash return and the net cash flow. So we're estimating these numbers, and this is what we are aspiring to get in the deal. And if you're a good underwriter and a good operator, you're probably going to be right on, right? But in case something goes wrong and you need to fill out the house quickly and you need to reduce your rents, this is what you would get, worst case scenario, right? Let's make it even worse. Let's make this like everything had to be reduced because for whatever reason. And as you can tell, you still get a good net cash flow and you still have a really good cash on cash return, right? For Coliving, you really don't want to dip below 30%. It's a lot of work to make 30%, 25% maybe, but really don't go below that. Yeah, that's it. This is the way I underwrite my deals for creative properties. This should be everything that you need here to calculate quickly if it's a good deal or not a good deal. If you know if you want to calculate something else like equity build up, depreciation, appreciation, and all of that, you can do that in a separate calculator. Honestly, you shouldn't have to use those numbers to tell if the deal is good or not. The cash on cash is king because that is what is going to go into your pocket. That is going to go what is going to go into your partner's pocket. Appreciation, depreciation in a creative deal, tax savings, that is all a plus, right? That's like the cherry on top, but you shouldn't rely on that because you cannot control the market. You cannot control if that's going to go up or not. And look at 2025, everything is going down, right? So the people that bought in 2021, 2022, expecting the market to go up, they're losing their minds right now. So rely on this number. This is what's going on in your pocket. This is what you can make any month. And every month, this is what you can predict. This is what you can get, and use the number. Okay? If you have any questions, you can find me on Instagram. Just send me a message. Thank you.